Hey, hello to DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich and Rotowire's Paul Bruno and AJ Scholz. What a electric trio. You guys are choosing the best options for NHL bets on tonight's playoff slate. So the Penguins and Islanders face off in Game 5. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, Pittsburgh is home for this one. They're minus 140 favorites on the money line. Geoff, are you that confident in the Pens, or can the plus 120 money line for the Isles persuade you to lean that way?
I'm not super confident in the Pens, but I am going to lean their side here. Again, I think you look at these two teams during the regular season, you have to give the slight edge to Pittsburgh. Obviously, they have the most prolific player in Sidney Crosby up front as well. And the biggest factor for me here is Tristan Jarry's, their goalie, his home splits. He's 17-3-3 this year at home. His save percentage is significantly higher. And we're kind of dealing with a pretty large sample size. I think Jarry probably bounces back here. And I'm just not sold that the Islanders offense can keep this up. So I think this series is really close. I don't really like picking against the Islanders in the playoffs, but again, everything here leans me towards Pittsburgh, even if you have to lay the slight juice here. So I do like them to bounce back with a win.
Paul, you leaning towards the Pens, or are you feeling persuaded by the Isles?
Jess, I have a feeling that my pal AJ is going to be on pins and needles for this tilt. I'm going to point out that Sidney Crosby's been blanked in the last 3 games, and Malkin has only got 2 shots on goal in the 2 games he's played in this set. If you're a stockbroker, that doesn't represent good trend lines. Sorokin, for his part, has limited the Pens to only 4 goals against in his 2 starts, turning aside 68 of 72 shots. He'll start tonight for them, of course, and I expect that this game will be a low event tilt, which with such high stakes, and that suits the visitors just fine. They're playing into the Islanders' hands, I think, tonight. And I said at the start of the series, the longer it goes, the tighter it'll get, and I think that favors them as well. I see the Islanders earning a narrow win tonight.
Next, we look north to the Maple Leafs and Canadiens. So after Carey Price helped steal Game 1, Toronto scored 5 goals to win Game 2, and even the series at 1. Now the series shifts to Montreal, but the Leafs are still the favorites at minus 165. So, Paul, do they keep up the momentum of the Game 2 win, or does plus 140 for a home dog in Montreal sound good?
Jess, as you implied, they delivered a strong message in that Game 2 lopsided win. They had way more weapons than the Canadiens, and they showed them off in that game. They had great success in Montreal also this season, it should be noted, posting a 3-1-1 mark in the 5 games. So I think they go in there with a lot of confidence tonight. The Canadiens, meanwhile, have struggled offensively, scoring 3 goals or less in their last 9 games played, only winning once in regulation time in that stretch. Did the Leafs find something on their power play with 2 goals on the man advantage? They haven't done that for 30 games. So it's great for Leaf fans to see that unit waking up. I see this as a lot of questions for Montreal to answer, and I'm on the Leafs at minus 140 for sure.
AJ, do you agree with Paul on this one?
Again, Paul could not be more wrong here. I'll take the value for the Habs at plus 140. Look, I think ultimately the Leafs will win this series, but at plus 140, I love the value on that one. You mentioned Carey Price stole the first game. He can definitely do that again. And you want to talk about tools that are coming out for the Habs. They're going to put Cole Coffield in the lineup tonight, just 19 years old, 4 goals, 1 assist in his 10 games played. I totally agree with this decision to sit him for the first 2 games, let him watch playoff hockey from the press box. He'll be back he'll be in the lineup tonight, probably in a second line role. And I think he'll probably I would take him, I forgot to look it up here, but I would definitely take him to score a goal on this one.
Geoff, who do you agree with?
I'm going to take this a step further. I'm not sure the Maple Leafs are going to win this series. I agree with AJ big time here. This Montreal team has Brendan Gallagher back. They're putting Caulfield in. I like it, man. Like, I like where this is headed. Carey Price, who cares what he did last game? This has been his whole career in the playoffs. You think he's done after a bad game. He comes back and he makes 40 saves. First game at Montreal with the Canadiens or with the Canadiens at home now, and the Maple Leafs coming in without John Tavares. I think the Canadiens steal a game here, and I think this series stays really tight, and we see possibly a 7-gamer here. So I really like the value getting on the money line tonight with Canadiens.
Woo! All right, guys, this is the crazy segment. Let's go to a series that has featured a ton of offense as the Lightning are looking out to close out the Panthers in Game 5. Now, the total for this one is sitting at 5.5, but you're going to be laying some juice with minus 120 on the over. But keep in mind, this game has gone way over in all but one of the games in this series. So is the over the right play here, AJ?
I don't think it is. I'm going to go with the under in this one. And part of that is because all signs point to rookie Spencer Knight getting the start tonight. They wouldn't confirm it. Coach Q gives it the could be if Knight's going to start or not. But this is a kid that hasn't been phased at all by making the jump to the NHL, undefeated in his 4 regular season games, posted a 2.32 goals against average. It's clear that Kucherov's maybe not 100% after that little hack to the knee there in the last game. Vasilevsky should be a nominee for the Vezina Trophy, could probably even take it home in this one. I think we're going to see a goaltending duo battle here in this one, and I'm going to take the under.
Jeff, do you agree? You're taking the under?
I think pretty much whenever you get a 6 total in the playoffs, like leaning the under is almost always the right way to go. There's just such a good chance that, you get a big goaltending performance bounce back or something. We've got Vasilevsky on one side, no Nikita Kucherov. Well, I shouldn't say no Nikita Kucherov. He's questionable. Like AJ said, he's banged up. It's not a good thing. Sergachev is banged up for them as well, too. And then you've got the potential, a big goaltending performance coming. At least, at the very least, he's probably going to be better than the Panthers goalies so far in this series. I think the bet here is actually just take the Panthers money line because of the Kucherov injury factor. And also the Panthers have looked pretty good 5-on-5, quite frankly. So I don't really like attacking the total as much. I would lean under. I like Panthers money line in this one.
All right, Paul, these guys feeling pretty safe going with the under, but could you be enticed by the over?
I'm the contrarian today, I guess, Jesse. When we forecast this series on our pod at Rotowire, AJ and I felt the games would be high scoring, and we were right because the clubs have an inordinate number of weapons between them. The play has been even more wide open than I expected, with the teams showing a belief in that talent above an ability to limit their opponents in tighter checking games. I'm alarmed at AJ putting so much faith in raw rookies with his calls on Coffield and Knight in the games tonight. In terms of this series, they've taken the teams have combined for at least 60 shots on goal in the games, and with the talent on display, I expect that total to be exceeded tonight, and the trend line shows that the offense is going to follow. So I'm taking the over.
All right, guys, after one of the worst collapses in recent memory, the Oilers are on the brink of elimination tonight in Game 4 against the Jets. The Oilers are actually favored in this one at -115, but let's start with our resident Oilers fan, Geoff Ulrich. Buddy, do you have any faith in Connor McDavid and company?
Yeah, I guess I should have talked longer in the other segments so we couldn't have gotten to this one, but didn't plan that out well. I have no confidence in this team at this point. Why would you? Why wouldn't you take the plus money on the Winnipeg Jets? This is an Oilers team whose bottom 6 and defensive depth has been exposed through the entire series. You've got the coach sending out the 3rd and 4th line in defensive zone faceoffs against the Jets' second line to get taken advantage of on a consistent basis. Nothing's going to change here. The Oilers are going to get swept. Move on to the next question.
Just so you know, Jeff, we already talked about it in the Slack channel, and we were going to get to this question even if we were heavy because we wanted to make you talk about it. So, Paul, what do you think?
Jeff, there's room on the Leaf bandwagon, buddy. Okay. I was surprised to see the Oilers go with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and for a time it looked like they'd be successful, but what did they commit on? In the end, it really is going to cost them. Smith even showed up with a subpar effort in goal. Do you see those two superstars in the postgame? They looked like they'd seen ghosts.
Yeah, AJ, where are you going?
Like, getting Nikolai Ehlers back in the lineup can't be oversold how big of an offensive boost that was for the Jets. Andrew Kopp is a solid third-line winger, but he's just not a top 6 guy. You've got a second group now that's Pierre-Luc Dubois, Paul Stastny, and Ehlers. They've combined for 6 points already, and that's with Ehlers and PLD having missed 3 games between them. Having said that, Jeff, it's not all gloom and doom. I'm just not betting on a sweep here when you have 2 of the best players in the league on the ice in McDavid and Draisaitl. I'll take Oilers on the money line, but I will get some value. I'll look at the series matchup at 4-1 in Game 5 at plus 335. I think Edmonton gets 1 tonight and then drops Game 5.